What is going on, people? I am Dylan Denmark, live at the crib for the reaction to the Florida and Samford post-game show. It was the DJ Lagway show, more or less, for the Florida Gators. Running solo tonight as the Grand Marshals down in Miami for the Jacksonville Jaguars Miami Dolphins game. So he won't be able to join us, but we'll have an extended Monday show. Instead of going 30 minutes Monday, we'll probably go about an hour. Graham was having problems getting internet service and things like that. He was watching the highlights. So obviously, we all know Graham. He has plenty of things to talk about. But just going solo tonight for about 15 minutes on what we saw from what DJ Lagway did tonight. Throwing for around 450 yards in the air, run the ball a little bit. Trey Wilson gets an 85-yard jet sweep. Elijah Badger had a pretty good game. What was his box score? What was his final tally? So Trey Wilson had 6 catches for 141 yards. Elijah Badger had 3 catches for 123 yards. No touchdowns. Trey Wilson, his only touchdown was on that jet sweep. So there was a lot of things to talk about. I'm just going to get straight into it with the DJ Lagway controversy that's going to happen next Saturday when Florida plays Texas A&M. Graham and I said Wednesday that we fully believe, or it was Thursday, whatever the last time we spoke, that we fully expect Coach Napier to go with Graham Mertz next Saturday, and regardless of how well DJ Lagway played. Well, one thing I can tell you just from watching the game, and yes, he's a freshman, DJ Lagway is too good not to play at every game moving forward in this season. Graham Mertz, he should get the start, fine, whatever. And I assume that Napier is going to do that. Not saying I would. I think that's just what Napier is going to do. But you are a fool to have one of your best guys on the sideline the entire game. It doesn't matter if you have a package for him for a drive, for a couple of plays. DJ Lagway is too good of a football player and can make your team better by not playing it. You have to play him. It's period, point blank. This isn't a hard conversation. I think that's what Billy Napier is going to do. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Napier goes with Lagway, but I think he's going to roll with Graham Mertz. And I think I think he's going to do it based off of what he told him in the offseason, and just that. I think that's what he's going to do. Florida's run game was still a little shaky today. The defense played decent. I mean, this is Samford. Okay, Samford was not a good team. They lost to North Georgia last week, and Texas A&M is obviously going to be a lot better. The one thing that people are going to talk about the play calling in the first drive of the Wildcat. The Wildcat was fine by me. If you're going to try it this game. Don't try it next game and then see how it is. You tried it this game, it doesn't work. Okay. Move on. Let's not use the Wildcat with Trayon Webb or Montrell Johnson or whoever. But I mean, in that situation, I mean, I didn't understand the Wildcat because DJ Lagway can use the legs that Montrell Johnson and Trayon Webb can do. So I kind of didn't understand that standpoint. But if you're going to try something different, that's fine. It's one of those games where you just see what you can do. See if you like it, cool. You can move on with it. If you didn't like it, take it out, throw it in the trash, move on. And that's what happened. It didn't work, and then you move on. One thing that kind of concerned me is the situationally when Florida got to the red zone later in the game was the penalties. You can't be driving down and have a holding call. You can't have a false start. It's just this might be Florida's. You look at the schedule coming up. You got Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Kentucky, LSU before you hit the second bye week before the Georgia game. These are little things that cannot be happening when you're playing these kind of teams. You have to execute, and you have to be fully on point with what you got to do. Yeah, I agree with you right here. I'm waiting to see what Napier is going to say. I mean, Napier doesn't ever say much about anything anyway. But I think he'll probably get the podium in the next 15 minutes. I'll probably be off by then, but I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. Florida probably if I had about $100 bill, who's taking the first snap against Texas A&M? It'll be Graham Mertz. I don't agree with it. Every single fan doesn't agree with it, but I think that's what they're going to do. But DJ Lagway's got to play at least 15 snaps next week. If you're just joining us on Facebook and YouTube, thanks for popping in. Hope thank y'all for hopping in, and if y'all could please share this wherever you get your social media on Facebook and YouTube. But I don't know. I just think that he's going to roll with Napier, or sorry, Napier's going to roll with Mertz, and that'll be it. Defense was okay. Samford runs an air raid, and looking just a little bit at what Texas A&M does. I only watched the second half of the game when they played Notre Dame, and of course Notre Dame loses to Northern Illinois. So how good of a quality of an opponent was that last week? It looks like Texas A&M mainly wants to run the football. I think today when they played McNeese State, they ran for I want to say 388 yards if I'm not mistaken, and they didn't really throw the ball much. So let me pull up their box score because they beat McNeese State pretty good, like 52-10. Let's see. You go to the ESPN icon and it pulls up every single college football game. I just need the SEC. Let me see here. Yeah, final score is 52-10, and A&M had 529 total yards, and they ran the ball for 333 yards. So expect Texas A&M to want to control the clock, run the ball, and I'm sure, if they're smart, they would take a lot from what Miami did last week and, try to implement a lot of what they did. I like that that the Daytona Beach Mainland 5-star got to play a lot. LJ McCray. I finally, I don't think he played at all last week. Finally, it was good to see him play a little bit. The offensive line had a good job, and the biggest takeaway for me tonight with Lagway playing was how incredible his deep ball is. You always hear. I'm always, on Twitter, you always hear the elite ball placement kind of meme going around. His deep ball is incredible. I don't even think Graham Mertz could have, granted that he had plenty of time most of the time, and granted, a lot of his guys were open. Badger on the first deep ball, and there was a couple other ones that he had. His deep ball is incredible, and the way he's able to use his legs and in the run game. I don't see how you don't play DJ Lagway moving forward if you're not going to start him and having packages in for him. So that's kind of my final synopsis of what happened tonight. Florida, Texas A&M. I believe that game's at 3:30 next week. Graham Mertz wasn't able to play tonight for a concussion. You know how concussions go. You're out for at least 5 days, and then you kind of go through the symptoms, and you go through a lot of tests, and you have to be open with your trainer, and you have to see how you are, you progress. So it all depends on the severity of the concussion. I don't expect, I expect Graham Mertz to be able to be clear to practice at least no later than by Tuesday. We'll keep you posted. I'm sure Napier will have an update tonight after the game, and probably at his presser Monday, which usually speaks either sometime in the morning, no later than around 12 o'clock. And Graham and I will give you a full reaction from there. But if you got a reaction from the game tonight, just pop in on the 1010XL Facebook channel or the YouTube channel. I'm Dylan Denmark. Graham Marsh, who's usually my co-host, wasn't able to pop in as he's down in Miami for the Jaguars and Dolphins game tomorrow. I don't know, heaven knows what he's doing. Probably at Hard Rock, probably losing a couple $100, but that's him. That's his life, what he wants to do. So, it's kind of hard to take a lot of what happened tonight because it's just Samford. It's not. I'm not going to have this big, this big idea of what I think the Florida Gators are. It was a very big letdown what happened last week against Miami, and Samford lost to a really bad team last week, and I kind of expected them to do what they do. I would have rather had a little better start. Ball fumbles inside the 5. It was 14-0 at the half, but then they started to get it rolling a little bit. Getting a 45-7 victory over Samford. For all the degenerates out there, Florida, depending on when you got the line, I think the line opened at 38.5 and they won by 38. So still, those guys in Vegas know it. They know what they're doing. Florida Gators need to improve. Yes, they need to improve a lot. And everybody's going to talk about the offense and the quarterback. I still think this defense needs to improve drastically. I know Florida had four DBs out. Playing an air raid offense where you throw the ball usually first, even though Samford ran the ball a lot for an air raid offense. You got to get these DBs back. Denson is going to be a big piece. He needs to come back next week. I think they said Turner, the safety, I think he's expected to miss some time. If I'm not mistaken, I might have I think I read that tweet somewhere. But you got to have these guys healthy. That's the number one thing. And then having guys in the right spot, and you got to execute. You have to be gap sound if A&M is going to come into Gainesville next week and want to run the football, because it doesn't look like they're going to throw the rock a lot like Cam Ward did last week. That Miami did. So, if you're able to limit Texas A&M and some of the big plays and control the clock, then that should be a recipe for success next week. Congratulations, Don. You did get the half point. Yes. I did not bet on it. The line didn't come out till like Thursday, because I guess they shut it down with when they found out Lagway was starting. I can't bet on college football games early in the season just because, Florida State's double-digit favorite the first 2 weeks, and then they came to cover spread. We've seen Notre Dame today. Alabama's in a dog fight. What's that Alabama score? It's 21-16 right now, halfway through the fourth. That was another. Arkansas almost beat Oklahoma State today too. So there's a lot of things going on. DJ Lagway looked good. Keeps perspective. He should have against lesser competition. Yes, this is true. What I was expecting, I expected this storyline for Lagway to excel, have 400 yards, do well with his legs, and then this is going to be the only talking point the entire week. So if anybody else has some comments, go ahead and drop them before I get out of here. You can catch me on Twitter at 1010XL Denmark. We do this Monday, Wednesday, and we'll go post game after every Florida Gator game. We appreciate all of the support that we've gotten the last week or so, as we had pretty good numbers for multiple reasons after the Miami game. And conference play starts next week, all the way through the week before Thanksgiving, before Florida plays Florida State. Yes, I agree that they would have probably got their butt kicked against an SEC team. So, and another thing too is it's hard, and not saying that this is an excuse, but it's hard when you know that your team is way better than the other team. It's hard to get up and be focused and be locked in and do it. Not saying that's an excuse, but it's hard to be motivated for a game like this. You saw it was 14-0 at the half, and it should have been 21 had ball not fumbled. And then they started to get a roll in the second half. But, it's just hard to come out and be focused like you were, before the game, before kickoff started against Miami. And I think Florida will be, ready to go against A&M. I expect A&M to be a favorite, probably around 6 points if I had to guess. And, that'll be it. So. All right, I'm going to hop off here. Went about 15 minutes. I'm Dylan Denmark. You can catch me on Twitter at 1010XL Denmark. Graham Marsh will join me Monday for his reaction to the game for Florida-Samford, and we'll talk all about DJ Lagway and what the game is going to happen against A&M next Saturday at 3:30. Make sure you're subscribing to the 1010XL Gator YouTube channel and liking us on Facebook. And until then, I'll see you all Monday.